Welcome to World News by Halandzovskyi. If you value calm, clear, and fact-based reporting on major global issues, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share your perspective. Today's report breaks down the complex picture of the war in Ukraine, focusing on US involvement, Russia's military strategy, and how the conflict continues to affect the international system. The war in Ukraine remains a large-scale clash between Ukrainian forces defending sovereign territory and Russian forces seeking strategic objectives across multiple fronts. Over time, both sides have recalibrated their tactics, adapting to battlefield conditions, terrain, logistics, and international pressure. One of the most enduring features of the conflict is the frontline stalemate in many regions. In eastern Ukraine and the Donbas, Ukrainian defenders have worked to fortify defensive lines, leveraging trench systems, minefields, and long-range artillery to blunt Russian advances. Ukraine's counteroffensive operations have focused on breaking positional deadlock, attempting to reclaim ground strategically important for supply routes and access to urban centers. Russian forces, meanwhile, have maintained pressure by rotating units, conducting limited assaults, and seeking to exploit gaps in Ukrainian defenses. Russia's strategy emphasizes attrition, logistics, and control of key terrain, even as extended supply lines and sanctions strain its operational tempo. At sea and in the air, drones, electronic warfare, and artillery exchanges add layers of technological complexity. Ukraine's use of Western-supplied weapons, including long-range missiles, air defense systems, and drones, has helped blunt some Russian capabilities. Conversely, Russia's artillery mass and layered air defense create persistent challenges for Ukrainian planners. The United States has played an outsized role not just as a supplier of weapons, but as a strategic partner. American decisions on aid packages, intelligence sharing, training, and economic support help shape Ukraine's capacity to sustain operations. From Kyiv's perspective, reliable support from Washington signals commitment from a powerful ally. For Russia, it represents a geopolitical counterweight. The Ukraine war is not only fought on the battlefield. Diplomatic, economic, and strategic layers shape outcomes just as much as frontline clashes. Diplomacy and negotiation. Numerous attempts at peace talks have occurred, but progress has been limited. For Ukraine, any negotiation must preserve core principles: sovereignty, territorial integrity, and security guarantees. Russia's demands often include conditions that would erode Ukraine's autonomy, complicating prospects for a negotiated settlement. The role of external actors, whether the United States, European states, or international organizations, remains essential in creating frameworks for possible dialogue. Economic pressures and sanctions. Western sanctions continue to target Russian economic sectors, cutting access to technology, finance, and global markets. Russia has responded by redirecting trade, building alternative supply chains, and leveraging energy exports where possible. On the Ukrainian side, economic support from allies helps stabilize government functions, reconstruction efforts, and public services under strain. Global strategic realignment. The war has reshaped global security architecture. NATO members have reinforced commitments to collective defense, reassessing readiness and force posture in Eastern Europe. Countries outside the Atlantic Alliance, including key Asian, African, and Middle Eastern states, observe the conflict through their own strategic lenses, balancing economic ties with Russia against security partnerships with the West, public opinion, and political calculus. In the United States, debates continue over the scale and duration of support for Ukraine. Leadership changes, elections, and domestic priorities influence decisions on military aid, sanctions, and diplomatic engagement. Russia, too, faces internal pressures as prolonged conflict affects domestic politics, morale, and economic conditions. Human cost and resilience. Behind all strategic considerations lies a profound human toll. Millions of Ukrainians have been displaced, infrastructure lies in ruins, and families endure loss and uncertainty. Humanitarian support from international organizations attempts to alleviate suffering, but needs remain immense. As the war enters another calendar year, observers note that no simple resolution is in sight. Battlefield realities, diplomatic differences, and geopolitical competition all intersect, making the conflict a defining challenge of our time. Thank you for watching this report on World News by Halandzovskyi. If you found this analysis insightful, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share your perspective. Independent reporting helps us make sense of conflicts that affect the world's future. Stay informed, and we'll see you in the next update.